I've lived through hell on earth, and let me tell you that it still gets worse. You might think that since birth that you've been cursed, but I can take you through the works and through the worst. I did more than abuse the words with few concerns. I wish I could have sooner learned a better way to subdue the hurt and soothe the urge. Thought I was invincible, said screw the urge, too screwed to learn. Wanted to watch the school just burn. There ain't no such thing as God on earth, so screw the verse. I'm saying screw the universe. If you think it's bad now, well, it gets worse. So make the most of life before you're in the hearse. I guess that's the only lesson that I learned. Screw a world, just do with nerves until even the coolest verse. The fools go first, and everybody who rehearsed and worked on something the time just wasn't worth. If I had a dime for every time I took the verse, then I wouldn't have to say all these fucked up words, but I still do. It's up to you to decide which of these rhymes are true, but I'm confined inside the booth to find the truth is that I don't know what this whole world's come to. Suicide terrifies the youth. Well, everybody's stuck inside antivirus suits, and the police are getting violent too. So what the fuck is a guy to do? Well, I'll tell you what I'ma do. Through the verse, I'm saying screw the universe. If you think it's bad now, well, it gets worse. Make the most of life before you're in the hearse. I guess that's the only lesson that I learned when you get older. Nothing's the way that it used to be. It's screwed to see everything that you thought you knew, believed was fantasy. People who you trusted leave you deceived and throw you away while you bruised bleed. Make you confused and your crew just leave. People you assume to be family only help you happily if it helps their sanity. They like a roofless canopy, cause they're ruthless and never there to cover me. I still shiver in the summer's heat, cause everybody gives you cold shoulder until you're shuddering. Went from stuttering and stomach rumbling and fucking mumbling to stumbling into something big while crumbling. But I still stay above my underlings, deal with my troubles by spitting humble hymns. The subtle things can be something big when your life is grim. The reaper sins, you're moving up from the weaker sins. My week begins at the deep end and I take a leap again. I reach the ledge and fall back in before the week can end. Play pretend, just make amend with my sacred friends like Satan says. I should hate again cause I played the end. The common fate is I'm faded instead. Can't seem to get straight in the head. So through the verse I'm saying screw the universe. If you think it's bad now, well it gets worse. So make the most of life before you're in the hearse. Guess that's the only lesson that I learned. All these kids with addiction, self-convictions, they're putting themselves in prison. To sin is quite the confliction. Putting yourself in a fucked position to get a fix and becomes their mission. They miss out on their fucking visions. The drugs turn into prescriptions and love goes into remission. These thugs are all still some children. They run with guns into buildings, thinking that nothing can kill them. The opposite of fulfilling. The cops are killing civilians. The law is lost to the villains. The money controls the millions. The world is in shambles and I'm just chilling. So screw the universe. If you think it's bad now, well it gets worse. So make the most of life before you're in the hearse. I guess that's the only lesson that I learned. Paradise on earth, that's the biggest lie I've heard.